Hello, and welcome to episode 10 of the Around the Lantern podcast. I'm Grudge, also known as Josh. Today I am alone because of some scheduling conflicts. So today, for the first time ever, I've got my camera turned on. Also, it looks like I might be peeking, so I'm sorry about that. This is the first ever kind of video podcast that I've done. It's going to be a bit of a weird episode, I know. But yeah, so today I'm alone. And well, I'm not editing today's episode. It's just going to be this, what you're seeing right now. So there's a lot of people. Well, fuck, that's not a good way to start it. Everybody in the world is shaped by the people they meet and the experiences they have. I have met a lot of really amazing people throughout my life. So far, I'm only 23. I'm gonna meet a lot more people, but no, there's a lot of people in the world there's a lot of people that I know who have really made a difference and shaped who I am as a person, and I kind of want to take today to talk about those people. So, of course, first off, I want to talk about my wife, Jay, Zebra Wyvern. We met, I don't remember the exact year that we met, but I was working at a small restaurant called Drifters. It was a restaurant gas bar type thing. And I remember the first time that I saw her, I thought, wow, she's really cute. And a friend of mine who I was working with at the time, turns out he knew her. So we didn't really talk for those first few years. We worked in the same building. I tried to go and approach her a few times to talk, but she's definitely more of a shy person, definitely an introvert. Just like me, I'm also heavily introverted. In fact, I spent about 10 minutes before starting this recording because even though I do stream, this is weird. I've never done something like this before. But, sorry, I just had to scratch my nose there. It's been a little itchy. So, a few years later, I was living in a city called Selkirk with two friends. Those two friends have broken up now. They were a couple, but yeah, some stuff happened that I'm not getting into. But we ended up going to a concert. It was Stone Sour and Hailstorm. And they invited Jay along with them. So Jay needed to be picked up from her hometown, which was about 2 hours away. So I volunteered to go and pick her up. I know, real smooth, right? So yeah, I picked her up. There was another guy who was coming along from that same town. So we drove back to Selkirk. We picked up my two roommates at the time, and we went off to the concert. Sorry. Wow. So anyways, yeah, after that we started talking. And now, I gotta be honest, I was not in a good place at this time. I was working at a job that I hated. I was just constantly stressed out because I didn't know what I wanted to do with the future. And there was a long time that I was just in a really dark place. So anyways, we started talking, and eventually we kind of started to like each other, and we had our first date. It was literally just movie night. She came over. It took me probably I want to say an hour to finally, do the, put the moves on her, like wrap my arm around her, start cuddling. And I was absolutely terrified because I hadn't really had that much of an experience with a girl like that. And, well, um, at the end of the night, I mean, she kissed me. So after that, we started dating. There's going to be a lot of ums and ahs in this episode. I'm sorry. I'm doing this all. Yeah, I've already explained. But, um, fuck. I keep losing my train of thought. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry. I gotta stop apologizing. But anyways, so we started dating, and then a year later, we finally moved in together. And it was okay. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. So I ended up buying a ring within the first 4 months of us dating because it really didn't take me long to realize that she was the girl that I wanted to marry and live the rest of my life with. So, a year after we started dating, we moved in together. And it was 3 days before our first anniversary. I proposed to her. We were in our pajamas, by the way. It was a very casual. Our relationship has always felt. We've never felt the need to do any big gestures or anything. So I proposed to her in my pajamas. I was again terrified. I almost started crying. Fuck. Um, and then fast forward another couple of years. We were engaged for a few years. It was definitely a long engagement. We got married not last August. We've been married just a little over a year at the time of this recording. We got married. It would have been this last August, 2022. We got married 2021. Yes. And that is still a day that I look back to, and it always just makes me smile. Because I remember that day was terrifying at first. There's a lot of scary stuff in my life. Not terrifying. I'm rambling. Not scary, but scary in a different way. What made that day scary was we had set up multiple tents for the wedding, and that morning we got hit by a storm. Pretty much all of the tents were coming down. There is a tent that has been in the family for a long time. We've basically done most big celebrations in that tent. That tent snapped into pieces on that day. Which, it's weird, because it's a tent. You wouldn't really have, emotional attachment to a tent, but this tent has been in the family for a while. So, that tent snapped. We had to move everything last minute to the town hall. Sorry, I'm muting whenever I have to make a gross noise, like a burp or whatever. Um, so, oh my god. Yeah, we moved everything to the town hall last minute. And after we moved, the skies started clearing. And it was just the most beautiful day ever. Jay was wearing this absolutely gorgeous blue dress. I could not keep it together during our wedding ceremony. I lost it. I was a blubbering idiot. I could barely get through any of the lines that I was supposed to say. My voice was extremely high pitched because I was trying not to cry. But Jay makes me so happy just every single day. Every day that I wake up and I see her, I can't help but smile because I just feel like the luckiest guy in the world. Every time that I am with her, which is every day. So, very good. Jay really helped me get through a very dark time. This dark time that I'm talking about lasted from late elementary school until a year after I graduated, which was when I started dating Jay. So she really pulled me out of something hefty there. Back to the wedding day though. It was the height of the pandemic. So we couldn't really have very many people. We had to keep it down to 50 people. And I was lucky enough to have 3 of my best friends with me on that day. There was Grayson, Billy, and Jace. 2 of them you know from this podcast. That is Puzzle and Deerman. That's Billy and Grayson. So Grayson was my best man on that day. And I've seen the pictures from the wedding. And during the ceremony, you'll look behind me and you just see Grayson there with this huge dumb smile on his face because I could not keep it together. And of course Jace was on the other side past Jay, so I could see him also with a big dumb smile on his face, and I felt so blessed to have my 3 best friends there. Well, yeah. 3 of my best friends. I should correct myself there. So, anyways, speaking of those best friends, I met Billy and Grayson in high school. My high school was in Selkirk. That's part of why I moved to Selkirk later on after graduating. A little goofy, but I originally grew up in a very small town in the middle of nowhere. So it was the first city that I moved to was Selkirk. But anyways, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Billy and Grayson. I would spend basically every lunch hour hanging out with Grayson or Billy. There were a lot of moments where lunch hour was kind of like a break from everything else. I despised most of the people that I went to school with. There's another have another one. But there's a reason why I'm still in touch with those 2. And it's because they're great people. I feel good when I'm hanging around them. I've never known either of them to be selfish or rude or it's hard to put into words, but there's a reason why I consider them my best friends. And a little, well, it's just weird. I'm sitting here just talking into a camera. I'm not streaming, so it feels different. But speaking of streaming, I met some other really great people. 2 of them, I'm no longer really in contact with them, but I know that they are living their best lives together, and I'm so happy for them. I wish you guys the best, and Mike, I know you're going to make a great dad. But they're not the only people that I met while streaming. In fact, I want to talk about Nick and Phil. They've both been on this podcast. Phil was on, it'll be 2 weeks previous to this episode. But I've always been a little non-trusting of people online. I still am to a certain extent. I've always had a hard time trusting people, but I met Nick in one of Jessica's streams. Jessica is Mike's. I think they're getting married? I could be wrong. I think they are. I know they're having a kid together and they're happy together, and it's amazing because those two met. They were on the opposite sides of the country when they met. It's crazy how something like live streaming and video gaming can bring people together in a way that is just absolutely magical. But I met Nick in one of Jessica's streams. It was we talked a little bit about Monster Hunter in her chat, and then Nick was like, "Hey, we gotta play together sometime." So I was like, "All right, let's do it." So yeah, we started playing some Monster Hunter, and eventually I started hanging out in Nick's streams. Now, Nick's a musician. He's a damn good musician at that. Sorry, I need something to drink. My throat's getting a little. A damn good musician. And I like to go and talk to them almost, well, not, I would say almost daily. I'm in a Discord call with both Nick and Phil. And it's always something interesting. They're either watching wrestling or a bad movie, or they're just all gaming together, playing different games, but just talking, hanging out. And that's a good friendship. That's a good friendship where you can do your own thing and just enjoy each other's company. Now, I can't say that I know them as well as I would like to, because I don't think you can truly get to know someone until you really meet them, which I plan to one day. Someday. Where am I going here? Anyways, I wish those two just the absolute best in life. And Phil has had a lot of great things happening to him recently, like new job, new stuff like that. And it's amazing. It's all just amazing. Everybody that I'm talking about today is amazing in their own way. I know that after you say amazing enough times, it kind of starts to lose its meaning, but sorry for another long pause there. My bad. It's morning, so I kind of have some like stomach issues a little bit. I don't think it's like IBS or anything, but it's weird. Sorry, that might have been TMI. But through those two, I've also met a few others that are great in their own way. They've got a big community of streamers all together that they all do amazing. Just amazing. I'm so happy that I've met so many people. I'm so happy that I started streaming, because otherwise I wouldn't have met so many great people like Jess, Mike, Nick, Phil, and many others. There's lots of people that I've met through their communities. Fuck, my throat is doing weird things again. I know, yeah, this episode's gonna be weird. I'm rambling a lot. I didn't prepare any kind of script or any stuff like that. I'm just here to talk about the people that I care about. But anyways, I'm sorry, this might get a little bit depressing, but I was bullied a lot in high school, in middle school, high school. And well, there's a reason why I call myself everyone's Grudge, and it's not just because I love Final Fantasy. I don't have very many good memories of the past. I've forgotten a lot of them because I've found that they've been overshadowed by the bad memories, the grudges that I hold. I can't tell you about a lot of good things in high school other than those those lunch hours with Billy and Grayson and Logan and Brandon and all of them. But there was a time where it started to get really dark, and I wasn't sure if there was going to be any good way out. And trust me, I had considered some other ways out in those times. There was one thing, though, that really kept me grounded, and that was music. I can say that I probably wouldn't be here if it wasn't for some bands and their music. Most notably, of course, is Trivium. Anytime that I was feeling just absolutely shitty, I would plug in my headphones, put on Trivium as loud as I could. I would get off the bus occasionally and my ears would be ringing because I had played the music so loudly, but it drowned out everything, and I mean everything, like the bad, the worse. I finally saw Trivium last month in October. Yeah, it's November. Last month in October, I finally saw Trivium with Whitechapel, another one of my favorite bands. And I have to be honest, there were a lot of moments during that concert that I almost cried. Because I remembered what it felt like when I would crank that music as loud as I could in my ears. And I was standing there, shaking my head, head banging as they're playing their songs. And I knew that if I sat down, I would lose it. I was gonna break down. I went with my wife and my brother-in-law. They of course they didn't know about this whole thing. I told Jay later on that night, like when we were going to bed, but it was something I needed to experience, I think. I needed to hear that band live, and it's another moment that's going to go down as something that I remember fondly. So back to these bad memories that I talk about. I'm striving to make as many good memories as possible, because I have so much negativity. I have so much bad shit that I think about constantly. Like, I deal with anxiety disorder. I'm on medication for it. And like, I've dealt with depression and all that stuff, which I still have to a certain extent, but it's definitely more so anxiety than anything else. And I think I've been succeeding lately in making the good memories. Oh, I've definitely been succeeding. I live with the love of my life. I have so many amazing friends that I can talk to and hang out with and spend time with. And I owe a lot to every single one of them. So if you guys are listening right now, thank you so much for being a part of my life. It's just... I'm sorry. My eyes are watering. Okay. Oh my god. I wasn't expecting to get this emotional today. Wow. Thank you all. Thank you all so much. This has been a much shorter episode than this is probably going to be our shortest episode. But I really wanted to take episode 10 to talk about the people who have made a difference in my life. And cry about them a little bit, because Oh my god. Okay, I think I've got to shut down the recording while I still can before I break down into a blubbering mess. But again, thank you all so much, and I look forward to the future. I look forward to the memories that we're all going to make. And I look forward to someday building a family with Jay. I know it's going to happen someday. Not right now. This is not a hint. I'm not hinting at anything. We are not pregnant. We're not, I promise you. But I hope everybody has a fantastic day, a fantastic year. And once again, thank you all. Have a good one. This has been episode 10 of the Around the Lantern podcast. Have a great day.